This section of the course provides information about the 5 foundations of the IEP. The IEP is a working document that addresses free and appropriate public education provisions, supports education within the general education environment, is a collaborative process that considers a student's strengths, needs, and interests, and involves ongoing progress monitoring and decision-making. You will be asked to complete a short formative assessment as part of this unit. Feel free to pause, go back, or print specific information as you proceed. Overall, the purpose of an IEP is guided by the principle of providing a free, appropriate public education. It is a legal document that clearly identifies the services, activities, and supports a student will receive. We'll begin with Foundation 1. The IEP is both a process and a product which documents that the student is receiving free, appropriate public education consistent with all federal and state requirements. It is a working document, and educational staff should access a student's IEP throughout the year as they collect and analyze data. The IEP summarizes the strengths, needs, goals, services, activities, and supports necessary to assure the provision of FAPE. It states the services, activities, and supports necessary for the student to progress and succeed in the Iowa core curriculum. The indicators of Foundation 1 are: in an IEP, the document language is written so as to be understandable to all team members. Services, activities, and supports are to be implemented as outlined in the IEP, and each IEP is reviewed and revised on at least an annual basis. Foundation 2 involves an emphasis on the general education setting. Schools provide an appropriate educational setting based on the individual needs of the student and must address the legal requirement of least restrictive environment, or LRE. A strong presumption exists that the general education environment is the appropriate place to educate all students. The indicators of Foundation 2 are as follows. The IEP team determines the appropriate educational setting for the student and takes into consideration the unique needs of the individual, goals established for the student, and the special education services, activities, and supports required to achieve the goals. In addition, schools provide a continuum of services. Services are preferably provided in the school which a child would attend if non-disabled. Students with disabilities are educated with their non-disabled peers to the maximum extent appropriate, and justification exists for separate educational experiences. The third foundation reflects the team process. Collaboration among IEP team members is essential to student success, and the opinions of all team members are valued and encouraged. Equality and respect are extended to all team members. We know when Foundation 3 is being used in a system when IEP meetings are scheduled at a mutually agreeable time and place. Meeting notices include the name and title of all persons invited to attend and the purpose of the meeting. Excusal from attendance at a meeting can occur with proper notification. Parents and students know and understand their rights, and community service agency personnel are invited and encouraged to participate as appropriate. Foundation 4 includes student variables and the Iowa core curriculum. An IEP is based on the student's strengths, needs, and interests, including involvement and progress in the Iowa core curriculum. The IEP team is responsible for ensuring access to the Iowa core curriculum to the maximum extent appropriate. District grade level content standards and benchmarks are used whenever appropriate, and goal development is guided by the age or grade level expectations of Iowa core when appropriate. When Foundation 4 is in place, we see that student performance on Iowa core curriculum standards is documented in present levels of academic achievement and functional performance. District grade level standards and benchmarks are used to assess progress when appropriate. For preschool-age children, the Iowa Early Learning Standards may be used. Development of goals is guided by the age or grade level expectations of the Iowa core whenever possible. The IEP states the services, activities, and supports needed to ensure involvement and progress in the Iowa core curriculum, and individuals knowledgeable about the Iowa core curriculum actively participate on IEP teams. Foundation 5 involves data and decision making. The IEP process involves ongoing progress monitoring and decision making. Instruction is the most effective when based on continuous progress monitoring. Progress monitoring is needed to provide objective information and to make instructional decisions. And decisions should be based on frequently and regularly collected data, analysis of student performance over time, and in response to the results of educational interventions that are being implemented. In districts where Foundation 5 is in place, goals are meaningful, measurable, can be monitored, and are used to make decisions. IEP team members, including parents, understand the progress monitoring information. There is evidence of a measurement strategy and ongoing method of data collection and data analysis to drive the decision-making process. And student progress on IEP goals is reported as often as the progress of students without disabilities. These 5 foundations assure that the IEP is a tool that directs and guides the development of meaningful educational experiences. It must assist the student in achieving their goals, plus meet the mission and goals of Iowa's State Board of Education, Department of Education guidelines, and IDEA.